Today, we'll be discussing this topic. We'll be solving questions on changing the subject of a formula, which is also known as isolating the variable or manipulating algebras, as you might want to call them, whatever you want to call them. So today, we'll be solving these questions and we'll be going from simple to a bit more complex. And then finally, we'll also solve this question. This is the crux of the question we'll be solving today. Let's start with the simple one. So for the first one, the question says we should isolate t in the formulas, all of the formulas. So we're making t the subject of the formula. Basically, that's what we're doing. So what we are saying is that we currently have v is equal to u plus at, which means that v is currently the subject of the formula, right? Or we can say v is isolated. So we want to rewrite this formula so that t will be on the side where v is, right? And every other thing is on the other side of the equation. Do you get that? So what are we going to do? What do we do first? This is quite easy. We are trying to isolate t. So we'll start by, we're going to bring this to the other side. Or bring this to the other side, it becomes negative. So we have v minus u, right, is equal to at. Okay, and since at, which means that a is multiplied by t, so to isolate t in that situation, we have to divide both sides by a. So we're dividing both sides by a, right? Therefore, t is equal to v minus u over a. So you see, we have isolated t here, and we have made it the subject of the formula. That's all about that. All right. So let's go to the next question. We have p is equal to the square root of qr into 1 plus 3t over r. What do we do first in that situation? We square both sides. When we square both sides, we are going to have p squared is equal to qr into 1 plus 3t over r. All right, because when we square this side, we have t squared. When we square this side, it's going to help us cancel out the square roots here. Okay, now that we've isolated it up to this point, we have a multiplication there. We have multiplication in this end. So what do? We divide both sides by qr. Okay, so we're dividing both sides by qr. Watch this. Divides both sides by qr. So qr is going to cancel out qr here. We are left with p squared all over qr is equal to 1 plus 3t all over r. So what do we do next? Remember, we are trying to isolate t. So we're going to bring 1 to the other end. We're bringing 1 to the other end. This will give us p squared all over qr minus 1 is equal to 3t all over r. We want to cancel out r here. Okay, so the best way to go about it is just to multiply through by r. Let's do that. What we're saying here is that r into p squared all over qr minus 1 is equal to 3t all over r multiplied by r also. Okay, so in this case, we're able to cancel out r here. R will cancel out each other. We are left with r into p squared all over qr minus 1 is equal to 3t. Now we're going to have p squared r all over qr minus r is equal to 3t. You can choose not to open this bracket, but I guess it's going to be simpler if we open the bracket, because in this case now r can cancel out r, yes, and now we have p squared all over q minus r is equal to 3t. So what do we do next? So we have a multiplication somewhere here, so we have to divide, right? Divide both sides by 3. So while I'm multiplying, so we can say multiply this place by 1 over 3 and multiply all of these by 1 over 3. Okay, so 3 will cancel out 3. Now t will be equal to 1 over 3 into p squared all over q minus r. Right? Out to the final question. All right, as complex as this question might seem, it might also be the simplest of all the questions we have here. All right, so what do we do first here? We have to first of all get rid of this fraction, right? What do we do? How do we get rid of the fraction? Multiply it through by 2. Now we have 2s is equal to 2ut plus at squared. Okay, now there's a difficulty in isolating t in this equation. However, if we write the equation as this, at squared plus 2ut minus 2s is equal to 0, right? It looks like a quadratic equation. Remember this, ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0, right? So this they look alike, right? We have a for this, 2u for b, yeah, right? And negative 2s for c. So what we're going to do here is that we're simply going to apply the quadratic formula. And what's the quadratic formula? Let me write it somewhere here. The quadratic formula is x is equal to negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. All right. So to isolate t in this equation, we can just say, you see, b here is 2u. So we can say negative 2u plus or minus square root of 2u all squared. Remember, b is 2u here, right? Minus 4 multiplied by a. Remember, a is still the coefficient of t squared here, multiplied by negative 2s, which is our c in this situation. All right? All over 2a. Okay, now we can decide to simplify that, and just let's do that. Therefore, t is equal to negative 2u plus or minus the square root of 4u squared plus 8as all over 2a. And that settles it. All right, I hope you understood that. Thank you very much for coming to this class. I hope to see you in subsequent classes. Please do make sure to like, subscribe, and share this video. Thank you. Bless you. Bye-bye.